Hi, welcome. This is Dr. Nigel. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking again about stress. Last week we talked about the three main causes of stress being physical, nutritional, chemical, and hormonal, and mental and emotional. So next week we're going to be talking about chemical and nutritional. Today we're going to be talking about mental stress. Now if you notice over here, I wrote a couple things. It says mental stress, it's all in your head. Well, that's kind of a scary place for it to be because of all the stresses in our head and not all the people that we think are causing our stress. What do we do about it? Well, if you remember, most stress comes from our perceptions of things, whether that be money or time or relationships or how we interpret what people do to us or we to them. So the first thing we want to do to start addressing mental stress is think about what we're thinking about. So an author of mine, a friend of mine, wrote some great books. He's passed away, Dr. Wayne Dyer. He wrote a note that said, think about what you're thinking about. So most people are busy thinking all the time, responding and reacting, but he encourages us to stop and ponder where are our energies being put? What's actually going on in our head? So think of it as an example. If somebody cuts you off in traffic and you get all upset and pissed off, you're obviously going to think that that person rightfully wanted to wrong you, meaning they just set out on that day to just annoy you. But in reality, they probably had no even concept of you or your car. So he says if we think about things before we react, it reduces our stress dramatically. So let's think of the road rage example, for example, is if somebody cuts us off, the higher likelihood is they have really no concern for us. They're busy just like we are, concerning themselves with themselves. But if you take it as a personal attack against you, of course, that could ruin your whole day or your whole week and cause a lot of stress and anxiety in your body. Now, if you remember, disease is caused by stress, and one of the first places we get stress is our perceptions of events. So he encourages us to think about what we're thinking about, and that helps change our reaction. The next is quiet your mind. So if we think about what we're thinking about, and then we make a conscious effort to try to calm our mind down. So if you stop for a second and just kind of ponder how busy your mind is, thinking about work and life and kids and family and jobs and food and lunch and breakfast and all those other things that we think about, is if we just take a minute or two each day or even a couple times a day to sit down and breathe quietly in, quietly out. We practice how to quiet our mind down. That's why, of course, I've encouraged yoga over the years, because yoga is a way of quieting your mind, using your body, constantly moving, and then, of course, focusing on your breath to teach yourself to stop thinking so much. Now, of course, if we just tell people to stop thinking, that's almost impossible to do. So the real practice to quiet your mind is to focus on one single thing. And the first thing is usually breathing. So in yoga, they encourage you to breathe in and breathe out and listen to it. In other practices, it's the same thing. And as you do it more and more, then you become better and better at it, so that when things are stressful, you remember to breathe instead of focus on how all these different things are negatively affecting you. And then finally is changing our perspectives. Now think of it this way. If you're in a road rage state and our perspective is that somebody's there just to annoy us, or they're in our way to just make us late for work, or they're just mean and they don't want to be nice to us, that's a perspective. Now there's other perspectives that you might want to exercise because they have better outcomes on your health and your life. So that perspective might be, maybe that person's going to be late for work and they're going to lose their job. Maybe that person's child or mom or wife is in the hospital. Maybe there's a million different maybes, but the perspective is if you change your perspective, you change your response. So a lot of people would say, well, what if they are just a jerk? Well, the answer is maybe they are, but if your perspective's different, it doesn't affect you. So if somebody's behaving inappropriately and you think that they're being a jerk to you, well, it serves you to change your perspective on it, because now after you leave their presence, it no longer annoys you and it no longer negatively affects your health, your life. So consider the three things. Think about what you're thinking about. Quiet the mind, practice some form of meditation. I would call it breathing and paying attention. And second is reassess your perspectives. If there's people in your lives or circumstances that constantly annoy you, you might want to look and say, what's my perspective on that? And look at or exercise other perspectives that will certainly help you feel better, make you healthier and less reactive. So thank you for your time. I know today was a little lengthy. Next week we're going to be talking about nutritional, chemical, and hormonal stress. We're going to be talking about food and toxins, and we look forward to seeing you then. Have a good day. Bye-bye.